Support for NPR and the following message come from TNT. With the all-new season of The Alienist, Angel of Darkness, Dakota Fanning, Luke Evans, and Daniel Bruhl are on the hunt for a killer. Sunday, July 19th at 9, 8 Central on TNT. More at thealienist.com.
Live from NPR News, I'm Barbara Klein. The World Health Organization confirms a record increase in global coronavirus cases for the second day in a row. As NPR's Jen Newman reports, yesterday brought nearly 260,000 new infections in just 24 hours.
The WHO says the most significant increases came from the U.S., Brazil, India, and South Africa. According to Johns Hopkins University data, cases worldwide now total more than 14 million, and globally more than 600,000 people have died. Across the U.S., the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported more than 74,000 new coronavirus cases on Saturday, fueled by record or near-record cases in several states, including hard-hit Florida and Texas. Utah, Nebraska, and Iowa are among a handful of states that have not issued statewide policies for masks in public, despite the rise in infections over recent weeks. Jen Newman, NPR News.
Florida is reporting more than 12,000 new cases today. The mayor of Portland, Oregon, is calling for federal agents to leave the city amid allegations they're rounding up anti-racism protesters without proper identification and cause. Mayor Ted Wheeler says local leaders want them out.
He sent in the troops despite the fact that the governor, our two United States senators, myself as mayor, and others have said we don't need them and we don't want them. And frankly, the kind of escalation that they've been engaged in has really led to a situation that is more dangerous for all of our residents, and it's more dangerous for local and state law enforcement as well.
Protesters broke into the Police Association building last night and set fires today. President Trump tweeted Portland's leadership has lost control of anarchists and agitators. An activist group in Nebraska is planning to protest this afternoon against police using tear gas. As Emily Chen Newton reports from Omaha, the women's group says it's concerned about the effects the gas could have on the female reproductive system.
The march to the Omaha Police Headquarters is a response to local women reporting disruptions in their menstrual cycles after exposure to tear gas during recent protests. The organization Physicians for Human Rights has documented reports of miscarriages after prolonged exposure to tear gas. Dr. Rohini Har from Physicians for Human Rights says we need to acknowledge the experiences of women, but she worries the narrative could be used to scare women specifically away from protesting, when in fact tear gas is dangerous for many people.
These people all have the same right to protest as everybody else.
The protesters will demand the local police force to discontinue their use of tear gas. For NPR News, I'm Emily Chen Newton in Omaha.
This is NPR News. Canada's French-speaking province of Quebec is mandating masks be worn in all indoor public places. It comes as COVID-19 cases steadily increase there. Wall Street investors are awaiting second quarter earnings reports from some major companies this week as the stock market is buffeted by the pandemic and other factors. NPR's Jim Zarroli has a preview.
Tesla and Microsoft are scheduled to tell investors how they did during the second quarter and what they're expecting to happen in the second half of the year. Both companies have seen huge gains this year, and that's helped drive the entire market higher. Verizon, Intel, and American Express will also report earnings. Stocks finished mostly higher last week, but concerns are growing about how long the recession will last. The number of people filing first-time unemployment claims remains very high, and Congress is debating whether to extend supplemental benefits that are scheduled to end on July 31st. Jim Zarroli, NPR News.
European Union leaders are in Brussels for a third day trying to come up with a deal to boost the bloc's pandemic-rattled economies. The main issue is the level of spending and the strings attached to it. They're looking at a more than $2 trillion package. German Chancellor Angela Merkel says an agreement may be beyond reach. Austria's chancellor says they still have a way to go. Europe is in its deepest recession since World War II. I'm Barbara Klein, NPR News.